You are here with By the Cover. Today I'm going to be reviewing Call of the Boneships by R.J. Barker. This book was 482 pages and took me 5 days to read. I would rate this book a 9.8 out of 10. The synopsis: dragons have returned to the 100 Isles, but their return heralds only war and destruction. When a horde of dying slaves are discovered in the bowels of a ship, shipwife Maze and the crew of the Tide Child find themselves drawn into a vicious plot that will leave them questioning their loyalties and fighting for their lives. This book was an extremely solid entry into the series and is actually one of my favorite books in general. As far as my likes of the book, in this series the author creates their own language for this world. I was not a fan of this in the first book because it took a lot of mental capacity to learn it. But by the second book, the language is ingrained in you, and it is no longer something you have to think about. I think this builds to a level of immersion in the world. Every time I picked up this book to read it, I was transported to that world and was able to completely leave reality behind. While I wasn't a fan of needing to learn the language in the first book, by the second book, I'm all aboard on that train, and I think it's a great thing. This book had a ton of character growth from both the primary characters, the captain, and the ship's crew. Joran in the first book, one of my complaints with him was I didn't like his character because he whined a lot. He shows a lot of growth throughout that book and this book as well, and he's actually one of my favorite characters now. I thought that the book added more layers to Maze, which is awesome. I already liked her character. The surprising thing was the character growth that happened with all of the various crew members. I thought it was really, really, really well done there. It made me care about them, and it actually made me feel like all of these people were family. This is a book about second chances and seeing people live up to their full potential. This seems to be an overall theme in the trilogy that I really enjoy up to this point. I really like the relationships that are built between the crew members. This book had a large emotional impact. We see the loss of a lot of good crew members, and the losses were very much felt big time in this book. I also love that the series has a great balance of witty fun moments with the darker elements. There are lots of heavy portions of this book, but the second book did not feel as dark as the first book. It felt very adventurous and very fun to be along on the journey the entire time. I loved the ship politics and needing to work with different factions you may not like to accomplish common goals. Most of the chapters were either of medium length or short length, which kept the pace going and were very easy to read in short stints. I love the development of the Ghalame, and I love any time the Arquesians show up in the story. They're written in a way that just feels very awe-inspiring, like you're there witnessing something awesome. And I also love the aspect of the story where you treat your adversaries and death with respect. The only dislike I have of this book is it feels like there isn't a super strong antagonist. You very much dislike the antagonists in the book, but I don't feel like there's one overarching evil that we're trying to defeat. It's a very small gripe that didn't detract from the story in any way, and this one has super, super high marks for me. It was just a fun journey all the way around. It was highly character-based, but it also had a great balance of plot and adventure, humor, wit, and very heavy subject matter. That's about it. We'll catch you later.